All right, welcome to the track, guys, for Road Atlanta. Obviously, test drive. Come in here. You're going to pick up the Thursday session. That's static conditions. But if you want to see preview what the race was going to be, you're looking here. Forecast. No precipitation or anything. Race starts around 4:20. Temperature is going to drop off and get darker as we go. Sunset is at 8:20 for this specific day. So the race is going to go into it. It's going to start daylight. It's going to start getting darker, and it's going to end just after sunset type thing. So just be aware of that. You will be driving in the dark a little bit. Yeah, other than that, just pick a car, jump into it, and test drive from that Thursday session. So this is a lap for the GT4s. I chose a Mustang since we've done all the cars so far. I figured there's quite a few Mustangs on the grid, so let's go with that. So it took me a little bit of time to kind of bed this one in. Fastest I did was a 126.4. What's my split? 126.10. So a little bit of time to gain here. Definitely, I know for sure the corner before the long straightaway. We'll get to it. But anyway, I definitely lost a tenth or two in that one, so there's definitely a little bit of time. But let's play it full speed here, and then we will slow down and talk about it. All right, so there's a 126.436. So let's bring it back and we'll slow it down. So turn one, what I like to do is use this extra pavement here. So I'm gonna aim my car to kind of cut across the grass a little bit. I start braking just kind of after the 100 board, kind of a light trail, or not a light trail brake, but definitely a trail brake, medium to light brake in, and you're gonna pretty much hold it for a long, long time. So we'll slow it down. Here's a 100-meter board. You can see I'm getting on the brakes. Initially a little higher, using the pavement all the way, and it's going to be a very, very long trail brake until I feel the front end starting to bite, and then I'm going to get back on the throttle right before the apex, just a little kiss of the curb. Back on the throttle, just monitoring how much throttle I put in because I don't want to go all the way to the left of the track. I want to be able to come back over to the right. And as I'm coming up over this blind hill, I'm going to start turning in left before I kind of get there, kind of aim between these 2 points here. You can see the curb is going to start more around here. So initially I'm going to aim between these and then slowly going to come more towards this side here. And as I'm getting over the crest of the hill, you can see already I'm easing off the throttle because I want that front end to drop a little bit so I can get a little bit more grip. Starting to brake before the curb in. I got a little wild in this moment, so I definitely had to be very, very cautious on the brakes. You can see my car sliding a little bit. Once I'm on the curb, I'm going to start getting heavier on the brakes. And as you're getting off the curb here, you're going to start turning right. Initially, I definitely turned a little bit too much as the tires gripped up. But then there was some understeer. As I got off the brakes, the front end kind of popped up a little bit, and I got a lot of understeer, so it actually didn't get a corner cut at all, which is good. You could probably do this corner a little bit better, I think. Because yeah, initially I just turn in and there's so much grip, but then I got off the brakes and it just started understeering. So I think a little bit better modulation of the brakes, and you could probably go in a little bit deeper and cut this corner a little bit better. You got to be careful though, play around with it because there is a pretty easy off track. As you can see in past laps, I got off tracks. So yeah, just be careful with that. But in this circumstance, I eased off the brake, it understeered a little bit, and then I got back on the throttle before the apex. This section's pretty sketchy. It's got a lot of kind of throttle management. I like coming up on the curb here, and I don't want to wash out too far to the right because this next corner here, you also need to be a bit of a lift. So I come over to the left as much as possible, and as I shift up to the fourth gear, you'll see here the throttle trace is I get off throttle, get that front end to kind of bite down, shift up, use that off throttle moment to shift up. So that way you're not losing speed when you get back on the throttle and then have to shift up. And I try to get my right front tire kind of just skip over this grass portion into the curb. And that will carry me all the way over to the left here. And I jump back on this curb. And what I'm trying to do is bring my car over to the left as much as possible so that I can kind of straight line as much as I can over this curb. And I like to get on the brakes and off the throttle just before the curb. And I try to mount it completely so my right tires are on the curb so I can open up the next corner as much as possible. So you'll see here, off throttle, onto the brakes, onto the curb as much as possible, down to third gear. And as the kind of corner starts ramping more to the right is kind of when I get off of it. And then I cut over to the left here, third gear, up onto the curb, and then just a lot of steering input and throttle control. Yeah, it's a fun corner, but definitely a bit sketchy if you get it wrong. Down the straightaway is pretty easy. You come over to the left here. This is a corner I was talking about where I lost probably a tenth and a half. So probably could get, what was my lap time again? Yeah, I could get into the twos, the high twos, I think. Well, as you can see, my split was 0.102, so yeah. But yeah, I definitely lost a bit of time into this one here. Let's pop this back off. I like to brake around just before the 200 board. I think you could probably just brake a little bit before. I think that would have helped me out a little bit more. But you can see here, I'm on the brakes before those dotted lines. Pretty heavy on the brakes initially. This corner is one of those corners where you want to push the entry instead of pushing the exit. Whereas the next corner right after it is a complete opposite. You want to be light on entry and very aggressive on exit because there's a lot of straight time or a straight line afterwards, so you can gain a lot of time if you nail that exit. Let's back it up so I can talk about the specific corner. So yeah, I like to push the entry on this one a little bit more. There's more time to gain on entry than there is on exit, so this is one of those rare kind of circumstances where it's way better to push the entry really fast. So again, heavy on brakes because I'm pushing that entry very hard. Down to third gear, I want to use the camber of the corner here. Just kind of kiss this front curb. You can see right here, you can see the steering input. I am understeering quite a bit here. That's where I lost a tenth and a half. Typically what I like to do is maybe brake just a little bit earlier and get that front to have some grip, and then I can power out a little bit more this way instead of kind of pushing out that way. I like to try to go with this way, and what I do with this corner is basically as soon as I go out, as soon as I get onto this top curb here is pretty much when I'm starting to get off the throttle and the brake. Since there's no brake marker really around here, I like to see where the car kind of pushes out onto the curb. That's my brake marker, and I'll get on the brakes and down to second gear. I use pretty much all the track I can, and as I'm getting close to the end of the curb is when I'm going to start turning in. Try to cut this corner just slightly here, and then really get aggressive on throttle. I'm trying to carry as much momentum into the corner as possible to carry as much speed out of it and all the way down the straightaway. Straightaway, I try to cut it as much as possible, so I'm basically going to straight line it. Quality mode, obviously, if they're in the race and there's other people, you got to be careful. But quality mode, I'm straight lining it. Break in for, I think it's turn 10. 200 board, 100 board. I'm going somewhere in between, probably by the 150. You'll see here on the brakes, pretty damn heavy. Aiming my car towards these curbs, and I'm going to kind of arc it. I'm going to go onto the curb and start turning to the left down in second gear. This corner here obviously has a corner cut as well. You can pretty clearly see where the corner cut is, because if you stay on this patch of curb and smooth dirt slash sand slash grass, you're pretty good. If you cut into this textured part right here, you can see this green textured grass. That's going to be a corner cut. What I like to do is, again, same as that one corner, is I like to push on the entry a little bit. And what I'll try to do is kind of late apex this one and try to stick as close to the left as possible. It's that way I can open up the follow-in one on the right. So exit pretty close to this one, trying to open up this corner here, playing with my throttle quite a bit as I turn in, and then back on the throttle, just really trying to carry as much momentum as I can while not spinning out, all the way over to the left here, and then I'm going to cut across the corner. And as soon as I come over this edge, the car is just going to start understeering out wide, which is perfect because then I want to open up the following corner as much as possible. So I'm going to come all the way to the out wide here. I'm going to have to lift a little bit on throttle, try to get that front end to point down, and just kind of kiss this curb. And yeah, just a lot of throttle management on this corner as well. And as I come across the line, boom, there's my 126.436. Yep, so hope you enjoyed that track guide, and good luck on the race next week.